So for our pork filling, I'm just taking some fresh ginger, which I already peeled off camera, then just slicing it into round coins and then into thin strips, and then just running my knife through it till it's finely minced. Then just go ahead and gather it and place it into a large bowl where we're going to eventually mix all the ingredients together. So for our other ingredients, I'm just using 3 cloves of garlic, which is modest for me because I love garlic. But just go ahead and smash it so that way the skins peel a lot easier. And then just mince it just like you did with the ginger till it's finely minced. And then just take some scallions, roughly like 3 to 4 large scallions, and just mince it up, including both the white and the green, because they both have a lot of nice punch and flavor. And just go ahead and mince it. You can definitely do this whole process in a food processor, but I find it just as easy and fast if you just take a knife and a cutting board. So now I'm just mincing up some fresh cilantro as well. I love cilantro, so I can eat it by the cupful, to be honest with you, but definitely if you don't like cilantro, you can omit that. And then for some freshness, some crunchiness, and also to keep our pork filling nice and moist, I'm just taking some fresh Napa cabbage, which I already washed. Then just go ahead and cut it up. And I also like to cut it pretty finely. Just kind of run your knife through it. And for the larger, thicker portion of the Napa cabbage, like the bottom half of it, definitely make sure to mince it up so that way it incorporates a lot easier into the pork filling. And so now all you need to do is just add your pork. I'm just using some ground pork that's about 80-20. You just want something that has a decent amount of fat in it so that way your dumplings turn out nice and juicy. And so to that, for flavor, I'm just adding roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons of a light soy sauce, as well as 2 heaping teaspoons of toasted sesame oil. Make sure you get the toasted version, which should be a little bit darker in color, so therefore it has a nuttier flavor. And I'm also adding some black pepper to taste, so you can definitely substitute the white pepper. You can add more spice to it, it's up to you. I prefer black pepper though, because I just like the flavor of it better than white pepper. And then just go ahead and mix it around. I try my best not to dirty my hands, but it wasn't the best idea because using chopsticks wasn't very efficient. So I just ended up going in there, straight in there with my hands and just mixing it together until all of it was combined. So now just go ahead and cover your pork mixture with some plastic wrap. I do like to touch the surface of the meat with the plastic wrap so that way it creates a nice airtight seal. And then just refrigerate it while we make our dumpling skin. So for our dumpling skin dough, the general rule of thumb is to use double the amount of flour to water. Make sure that's hot boiling water. So I use a kitchen scale. I just measured out 4 cups or 520 grams of all-purpose flour mixed with 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of salt, and then just added half the amount of hot boiling water. So by weight, that's going to be 260 grams or 260 milliliters, same thing. And then just go ahead and mix it together. I use some wooden chopsticks here, or you can use a spoon. It's going to feel a bit dry initially, but eventually as you dump it onto your counter surface or work surface and then just knead it with your hands, similar to how you would knead a bread dough. You want to knead it for about 5 minutes or so, just until it resembles a smoother dough, but still kind of rough looking, to be honest with you. So then go ahead and just cover it with a bowl, let it rest for about 20 minutes, and then after 20 minutes, as you uncover it, it's pretty miraculous actually. It kind of smooths itself out. It's much more soft and pliable and feels like a very, very nice dough to work with. But to be honest, even after 20 minutes of resting, I found that my dough still had a bit of resistance from the gluten. So it does help if you're having a lot of resistance and a hard time rolling it, to slap it against your counter surface or work surface in order to stretch that gluten. Then just go ahead and cut the log into about 1/2-inch pieces for each dumpling. Then just take each little piece and roll it out with a rolling pin, or a wooden dowel is really helpful as well. And another rule of thumb is to make sure you roll that skin out as thin as possible. And just make sure to pay special attention to the edges to make sure that they're extra thin, so therefore it helps with folding and pleating our dumpling. And so once you've done that, go ahead and just add about 1/2 tablespoonful of the pork filling. And just make sure to not overstuff your dumplings, because then you'll have a problem like I did sometimes, because then it starts spewing out the sides and just creates a big mess. So now I'm just pleating my dumpling skin as best as I can, just overlapping those pleats one by one. Honestly, it's a lot harder than it looks. Those older ladies who've been doing it for years and years, all their lives, they are the true experts, and so I try my best. It's not the prettiest looking dumpling ever, but you know, I was happy enough. So I have a newfound appreciation and respect for the people who've been doing this for years and years and even centuries of dumpling making. You know, they make it look easy, but it's actually a true skill to have. So try your best, but you know, after a while, maybe after the 500th dumpling, you'll have enough practice to kind of be an expert. And to also make sure to just cover the rest of your dough that you're not working with either a bowl or like a damp towel or something, so that way our dough doesn't dry out as you're rolling and folding your dumplings. So at this point you should have quite a bit of dumplings on your hands, so you can definitely freeze most of them and then just cook up what you're going to eat. So I have a large cast iron skillet placed over medium-high heat, and I do add like a few tablespoons of a neutral flavored oil such as a canola or grapeseed or avocado oil, and then just wipe out any excess oil so our dumplings don't get too greasy as we fry them. So we're just going to place our dumplings in one by one. And I prefer the frying method and then steaming them. Some people like to steam them first and then fry them, but to me this way has always worked, whether you're using a frozen dumpling or homemade dumpling. So frying them first just gives them a nice golden brown, crispy, crunchy bottom to it, and then later we steam them with a little bit of water so that way they cook all the way through. So it takes about, I would say, 2 to 3 minutes for them to get nicely golden brown on the bottom. And then you want to add the water in about a quarter of a way to halfway up the sides of the dumpling and just cover it to steam. And if you notice periodically if there's not enough water to cook them in, then you can definitely add just more water as needed. Make sure to keep them covered so that way they steam all the way through. And you know your dumplings are done when all the water has evaporated, and just let them sit in the pan to get nice and golden brown and crunchy again. And I just love how thin and crispy, crunchy that crust is, and of course that ultra juicy, moist pork filling. It's so delicious. I do like to cut the grease a little bit with some black vinegar as well, or you can use some chili oil if that's your thing. So but definitely give this a try. Let me know in the comments below what you think, as well as hit subscribe and that notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video, which is every Friday, and also hit that like button, and I really appreciate it. I'll see you back here next time. Bye.